My name is Dr. Omar Bah, and I am competing to win your vote so that I may serve as your representative in the U.S. Congress. I came to Rhode Island 15 years ago as an asylum seeker. I fled the Gambia in Africa because my life was in danger, because I had the audacity to stand up to a ruthless dictator. I am running for Congress because someone needs to stand up for the American dream. Because this idea that with hard work and determination, economic prosperity is accessible to everyone is not a reality for many Rhode Islanders. And this notion that democracy is permanent, as we can now see with our own eyes, is simply not true. If elected, I will help to restore confidence in our democracy. I will seek to replicate best practices for lifting people out of poverty. And I'll be a steady advocate for this working class to help ensure that our American dream endures for everyone. Over the past 10 years, I have helped thousands of my fellow Rhode Islanders to get jobs, find stable housing, and pursue higher education and job training. I have seen tremendous resilience in the face of hardship. And for this reason, I am optimistic about our future. Today, I have the same audacity that I have carried with me through my entire life. The audacity to believe that as an immigrant, as someone who walked his way out of poverty and helped many others do the same, as someone who witnessed the rise of a dictator and tried to stop it, as someone who sees possibilities and potential where others see hopelessness, the audacity to believe that I am worthy to seek an honor that has too often been reserved for the elite, the privileged, and the politically connected. I ask that you stand by my side so that we, together, can defend the dream.
We have Omar Bah. He is running for Congress in Rhode Island's 2nd Congressional District. If you want to find more about Omar, you go to Bah for Congress, BAH4 FOR CONGRESS.com. Omar, thanks so much for coming on. It's an honor and a pleasure to have you on here today.
Absolutely, Bob. Rob. I'm grateful to be here, and thank you for your patience with my connectivity problems. But it's really an honor. I look forward to this conversation.
But let's start off with a nice, easy question. Tell us a little bit about you, and also what made you want to run for this Congressional District 2 seat that's up due to Jim Langevin retiring.
Absolutely, Rob. Thank you so much. My name is Omar Bah. Well, as you indicated, I'm a candidate for the 2nd Congressional District in Rhode Island. I jumped into this race because I thought it is time to bring in a fresh perspective, but also a lived experience with the know-how and a new experience to the representation of people in this state. Because I believe the issues are the daunting issues of public safety and the economy. And I walk in this field every day for the past 15 years. And it is important to now bring in people who live it, do it, and represent people properly. With my background, going back to your question, I'm from a small village. I grew up in a small village in the western part of Africa, in a country called the Gambia. By the way, it's the smallest country on the mainland of Africa. And here I am in the smallest state in America. I love my
You can't make these things up.
smaller places. I love my small places, Rob. And, I grew up as a social justice person, fighting for equality and equity and ensuring that people's human rights are respected. I first thought of being a lawyer because I wanted to fight to protect people like my mother, who was living in a village where I grew up in, where she was the only woman who would do laundry for over 30 people with her hands, fetch water from a well, and carry heavy buckets of water on her head. It was extreme domestic violence. If she had shortage of any, she would be beaten and tortured. And I, as a second son, my oldest brother had epilepsy, and I was mostly the one helping my mother. So it was like an extreme urge to want to achieve, to protect her, to support her. And I thought through education, I can achieve that. There was no school in my village. There was no running water, as I indicated in the case of my mother. There was no electricity. There was literally nothing for people to live regular lives in that village. And we used to use a donkey cart as an ambulance going to the hospital if people got sick. And there was no school in my village. I had to walk for miles in order to get to the nearest school, mostly barefoot. And only a few kids were encouraged to go to school because there was no motivation or opportunity to be educated. But I wanted to get an education to help protect my mother and to protect kids, mostly girls, who would be forced into marriages in their teen years. And I thought to myself, becoming a lawyer would be the best thing. And when I finished high school in the late 90s, that coincided with a warlord taking over the country, overthrew the constitution, and then became the president, the absolute dictator who controlled the treasury and started violating human rights and killing people and torturing people. So I thought being a lawyer, go to court, fight for people, and being motivated by what I saw growing up, my mother suffering, was really enough in culmination with what the warlord was doing. And there was no opportunity to pursue legal education. I studied for 2 years. That was the end of it. My family was very poor to continue to pay for me. Then one morning I walked into a small newspaper that came out twice a week, and I told the editor that I wanted to be a reporter because I thought that would be my new form of being a lawyer in journalism. The ultimate objective was to have a voice, give voice to others, but also have a platform to be engaged in and have the potential to participate on issues that mattered in my life. And that is, I couldn't be quiet in a country where issues that mattered in my life were not discussed, we are not engaged. I was not engaged in. There was no way I could be quiet in a country like that. This came with a heavy price. I was arrested and tortured and detained at the military barracks for my work. And that became a routine. I was always arrested and tortured. At some point, no newspaper would publish my work. So I resorted to sending my articles to a website in North Carolina in America. I did not know much about America, but I know this website is in America and they were interested in Gambian issues. And I used to publish my articles with them. It became very popular, called the Freedom newspaper. And the Gambian intelligence agencies hacked into the website. They wanted to find who was reporting for them from the Gambia. When they found out I was the one, there was a national manhunt. There was a price on my head. They declared me a wanted person, put my pictures on TV, on every border post. There were police checkpoints everywhere. It was like a police chase. Luckily for me, I had a hint. I was able to escape and flee the country in time just to save my life. And I ended up in Ghana, which was a little bit far from the Gambia. And luckily for me, I lived there for only 1 year in Ghana, which where I lived in a camp for 1 year. And I was processed by the American embassy. They helped process me to be a refugee and resettled in Rhode Island in 2007, May. So this past month, I've been here for 15 years and I became a refugee, moved here in 2007, and 5 years later I became a citizen, which I've been an American citizen for 10 years now. My wife, who was separated with me, joined me in America with the help of Senator Jack Reed, and she's lived with me since 2009. We have two boys who were born in America, 10 and 12 years old. And so I'm just grateful to be here, that I was given the chance for a second life.
It's really an incredible story. And I know no one running for Congress has quite that story. So I think people, again, should look at Bah for Congress. It's BAH for FORCONGRESS.com. Definitely check it out. He's running, and as a progressive needs help as far as getting the word out. What can you do as a congressman to try to tamp down on some of these issues and help some of the working people of the state of Rhode Island?
Absolutely. I mean, Rob, this is one of the reasons why I'm running, because, you know, the challenges and the experiences and struggles of people in Rhode Island are beyond just a regular full-time politician coming in and reciting them and making it look like they care or they can solve it when they don't even know our problems. So I thought to myself, you know, my outsideness is an opportunity to bring in a fresh experience, a lived experience, the things I see and walk on and take care of every day are the things that I want to, that motivates me to be part of this race, because I thought it is time to not be a spectator on issues that matter to us, but participate to resolve them, so that because we have the first-hand experience, we're working on these things. And, you know, as you talked about homelessness, these are all tied to the economy. Even gun violence, it has extreme repercussions on the economy. A new study, I mean, I watched CNN the other day, almost $300 billion is what these mass shootings are costing the national economy.
Well, I just interrupt you. We interviewed a mother that teaches at Rhode Island College. This was during the summer, where her daughter got shot up near Brown. I don't know if you remember this story, but she was just a bystander. She was seeing a friend. She was going into her car at 2 a.m. Someone just drove by, shot her right near Brown, and they never found who just did it. It was just a happenstance. The girl was not involved with any gangs or drugs or anything. She was just coming back from visiting a friend. So it's going on in Providence, and it's gotten out of control, not just in Providence, but all over the country.
It's out of control. I mean, nobody is saying people should not have the right to have guns, but there must be some sort of control, because people's lives and the economy are more important than the guns. And, you know, that family, that mother you mentioned, and the child who was shot at, both of them will somehow have a break in their income generating means. So these are issues of humanity and human rights. People are hurting, but also the economy is hurting. Currently, we have gallon of milk almost competing with the federal minimum wage. And by the way, we have a federal minimum wage of $7.25. That has not changed for decades. $7.25. I mean, in what world can $7.25 an hour take care of somebody? We're talking about rent, where an average apartment in places like Providence costs not almost $2,000. So we cannot just ignore the importance of dealing with the economy. I work with mothers who were struggling and using the child tax credits during COVID to be able to get by.
They just did away with the child tax credits. They let it expire.
And that's where I was heading. You asked me what I would do to bring resources to Rhode Island. These are things I am not guessing, because I work with mothers every day to help them use those child tax credits to pay a babysitter, so that they are not paying it to sit at home. They are paying babysitters so that they can get a second job to pay those bills. It was tremendously helpful. Those mothers are now at home because they cannot pay a babysitter, and they are now not able to raise enough funds to take care of themselves. So those are kinds of things that somebody who is not dealing with families and individuals every day will not understand. We need to encourage job trainings. Free community college is important because it is not expensive and it can help make a tremendous difference, especially with jobs that are employable. We also need to invest in housing because there is so much money in this country that small tokens and resources we bring to the state can make a difference. There is no reason why the United States should be encountering this endemic problem of homelessness when we can make the difference. Increase the housing stock, invest in housing, bring in money where people can be supported with rental assistance, with mortgages, to the extent that they will be able to get out of poverty, lift them out of that struggle so that they become middle-class people. And that will trickle down into the economy because when they work or they pay those mortgages or rent, the economy, it will increase the flow into the economy to the extent that it will just stabilize the challenges that we are going through. Gallon of gas is extremely difficult. I mean, I have a small SUV, but I spend an average $100 every time I fill the tank. And I'm wondering, I've never seen that in my life because a couple of years ago before COVID, if I spend $50 to fill a tank, I'll be complaining, but now it's like $100. It's the new normal. What I'm trying to say is that new normal is not normal because there is suddenly something that could be done. There could be probably maybe tax, maybe reduce the tax credits or maybe have some sort of gas rebate where people will be able to, because if a family that is struggling to pay their rent is paying an average $150, $200 extra a month on gas alone and food, that is about $400 to $500 just on gas and food. People cannot keep up. And those are the things that I'll fight in Congress to ensure that they come to the people because everything revolves around the economy. And when the economy strains and people are distressed around these things, public safety even becomes a problem. Crime becomes high. There is correlation between all these things and even mental health.
So as we end, Omar, can you tell people where they can find you on social media, the website again, what you need help the most with, so people can, help you out the best they can?
Absolutely, Rob. So people can find me at bahforcongress.com and go to the website, sign up on our newsletter or sign up to be a volunteer. We need lots of those. We will be knocking at every door in the district because we want people to meet with us so that we can hear them out, listen to them. We also want people to donate because these apparently it all boils down to that. Unfortunately, we need the funds to be able to print material, to get out there and meet with the voters. We also need people to engage with us on social media. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, and every social media platform. In search Bah for Congress, you will find us. Send us questions, comment on our posts, and then we can have a conversation. Now, once again, thank you so much. And by the way, we need those donations. Go to the website and donate, and then we'll see how we can continue to leverage that minimum donation to help keep the campaign forging forward.
Right, bahforcongress.com. Definitely check it out. Omar, it's always a pleasure to have you on, and I really appreciate your time today. And we look forward to the Democratic Party primary, rather. Maybe we can have you on again before that to speak about what's going on as far as the primary is in September. So it's quite a whiles away still.
No, I would love to be back. I love this conversation. I love your ideas, and as a progressive, this is really what I resonate with. It gives me some energy. Thank you.
Well, we're great. You give us hope too.
Thank you. Thank you.